What is your name, please?
My name is Jan LeProd. My name is Jan LeProd. My name is Jan LeProd.
Only one of these young ladies is the real Jan LeProd. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Terry Nelson, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Winston Filter Cigarettes. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bud.
Well, you all look full of ginger tonight. Suppose you open up that envelope in front of you and follow along with the facts of this first story. I, Jan LeProd, am a dancer. My first professional role in a musical comedy was in the road company of Carnival, in which I played one half of a Siamese twin. On January 16th of this year, I got my big break and made my Broadway debut in the hit musical Hello, Dolly. This time, I am playing one half of a horse. Signed, Jan LeProd. Panel, these three ladies all claim to be Jan LeProd, one half of the horse in the hit musical Hello, Dolly. And let's start this questioning with Barry Nelson. Barry?
Yes. Number two, could you, have you had any ballet training at all?
Yes, I have.
And could you tell me two moves that a ballet dancer might make? Technical, in technical language.
Entrechat and tour jeté.
I see. You were in the road company of Carnival number 3, and could you tell me what was the largest town that you played?
Chicago.
And who directed the road company?
I'm sorry.
Number one, could you tell me the Hello, Dolly is playing at what theater?
At the St. James Theater.
And who is the director of Hello, Dolly?
Gower Champion.
How many would you say were in the cast?
About 45.
Thank you.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 3, pas de deux is when two people dance in the ballet, and there were 3 of you up there. What would you call 3 people dancing together?
Pas de trois.
Thank you. And number 1, Hello, Dolly was taken from a famous play. Can you tell me the name of the play?
The Matchmaker.
Number 2, who wrote The Matchmaker?
Thornton Wilder.
Thank you. Number 3, when you were in Carnival, who was playing the lead?
Harry Olson.
And number 1, who was the lady?
Anna Maria Alberghetti.
Number 2, do you know who directed the road company?
Gower Champion.
Number 3, where is the stage door at the St. James?
It's on 44th Street.
Thank you. Number 1, what is the famous restaurant down the street?
Hardee's.
Tom Poston.
Is it my turn? Okay. Number 1, do you know who George Marcy is?
Yes.
Why do I ask you that question? Was he in
I don't
any
know.
show you've ever been in? I don't know either. Number 2, who is Ed Kresley?
I don't know.
Number 3, do you know who Dick Crowley is by any chance?
I know the name. I don't know who he is, though.
Tell me, number 3, has Mr. Champion, a very talented director, done any shows since he did Hello, Dolly?
I don't believe so.
Thank you. Number 2, have there been any changes in Hello, Dolly since you opened?
Several minor ones, but nothing really important.
Thank you.
Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number 3, what's Sandra Lee's nickname?
I've always known her as Sandy.
Number 1, who played the lead in The Matchmaker, the Carol Channing's part in the stage version?
I don't know.
Number 2, who's Pierre Olaf?
A ballet dancer.
Number 1, what did you play? What theater did you play in Chicago with Carnival?
Number 1?
The Schubert.
Thank you. Number 3, when does that horse go on in Hello, Dolly? I mean, I wouldn't want to miss it.
After he's fed and watered.
He's
horsing
on
around.
4 times.
You're on 4 times.
No, I'm on twice.
But aren't you in the horse? I mean, if he's on 4 times, how come you're only on twice?
Because I'm in another scene at another time.
Oh, he gets different pairs of legs.
Nothing like variety. That's all the time we have. Time for you now to mark your ballot, so will you kindly do so at once without change and, of course, no consultation whatsoever permitted as you vote now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will receive the usual $250 for every incorrect vote. Are all ballots marked, panel? Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote?
Well, I voted for number 1. Not because she answered more correctly than the other two, but the other two made some mistakes, and I didn't get a chance to get back to her. Gower, of course, worked on high spirits since he did Hello, Dolly, beautifully, I must say. And there have been some changes in the show, and besides, I named some good, talented people who happen to be connected with Hello, Dolly, and 2 and 3 didn't know.
Peggy?
I voted for number 1 as well because Sandra Lee's nickname's Peanuts. Everybody calls her Peanuts. At least everybody I know calls her Peanuts. And number 2 said that Pierre Olaf was a ballet dancer, and he really is an actor more than a dancer.
And a very talented one.
Barry Nelson.
Well, the last place I would look for any of these girls would be under a horse, either end. I think they should be. But number 1 knew about George Marcy, which is very enigmatic to me, but it apparently is the key to this whole thing. And,
A wonderful dancer, wonderful actor, too.
Kitty, are you making it unanimous?
Yes. I voted for number 1. Number 2 apparently did know about Olaf because she hit her head in her hands after she said she didn't know, and she felt very badly about it. I could see that. So it probably is number 2, but I thought it was number 1. She's got short hair, too. It makes it easier to get onto the horse.
Well, there we have it, then, unanimous. Sometimes that's proved very, very good luck for you, panel. Other times it's been rather disastrous. Let's see which it is now, as we go into our area of truth and find out just who's who and who's right and who's wrong. See which of these 3 ladies is half a horse in the hit musical Hello, Dolly. And since John LeProd plays the front end of the horse, let's meet the rear end of the horse, Bonnie Mathis. Bonnie, do us a favor, will you, and select your other half. I won't say your better half, but the other half of the horse. Well, I'm afraid they're a little too smart for us tonight, this panel. I'll tell you what these 2 lovely girls have promised to do. They have agreed to do a little bit of the dance that the horse does. From Hello, Dolly. So if you'll go and get ready, then we'll check the other 2 lovely young ladies and find out who they are. So that brings me to you, number 2. What is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Amy Dave, and my father is Paul Alter, the director of this show.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Karen Collier, and that man's my father-in-law.
He sure is. Yeah, we're very happy at Michael's taste, believe me.
It's great.
It sure is.
A lot of pretty ladies connected with the show.
Yeah.
Kathy is here. Kathy Hart is here.
That's right. He sure is.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a little performance going for us now, and here they are. I just have one little casual comment in passing. You notice that the horse bowed head first to all 3 of you. 4 of you. Did you notice what part I got? I trust there was nothing personal in it. All right. right, well, in checking through the score, we know already that there were no incorrect votes, but in that case, $150 comes your way. I can't tell you how grateful we are, not only giving you the money from Winston cigarettes and a carton of Winston's on your way out, but our sincere thanks to you for starting us off as a real fun evening and a very, very beautiful evening. Good night, and God bless you. Okay, panel, let's easy now. Let's all look at this brief... Let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is John Montague.
My name is John Montague.
My name is John Montague.
Follow along with your copies of this story, if you will, please, panel. I, John Edward Hollister Montague, Viscount Hitchingbrook, am the heir to the title Earl of Sandwich. I am a direct descendant and namesake of the famous 18th century Earl who is credited with being the first person to put a slice of meat between two pieces of bread. On Wednesday of this week, I will officiate at the opening of the International Sandwich Gardens at the New York World's Fair. Signed, John Montague. These three gentlemen all claim to be John Montague, heir to the title Earl of Sandwich. We'll start this cross-examination with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Very nervous. Well, your royalty number 2, I would like to know, why did he make a sandwich? Your direct descendant and namesake of the famous 18th century Earl, what possessed him to make a sandwich?
He made a sandwich because he worked very hard in the Admiralty, and so he couldn't go out to eat.
Number 3, I don't like to say anything about your relatives or anything, but wasn't he a famous gambler, the Earl of Sandwich?
That is correct, yes.
Number 1, what is a hero sandwich?
I really don't know. We don't have them in England. I've never heard of them.
Oh. Number 3, did they...
Barry Nelson.
Number 2, do earls get any money at all from the government?
They do not get any money.
Would you sit in the House of Lords by any chance?
They sit in the House of
Supposing you...
Lords.
I'm sorry. You do?
Yes, they do.
Supposing you didn't want to become an earl, could you resign?
There's a new bill has just come through by which you can resign your title.
I see. Number 3, where is this building that you're appearing in? What is the adjacent building to it?
It's the 7-Up.
What meat did the Earls of Sandwich originally use in the sandwich? I know it's a little moldy now, but...
Yes. I understand it was roast beef.
Roast beef. Thank you.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 2, who is Drogo Montagu?
Fred, I don't know.
Number 1?
I don't know.
Number 3?
I don't know.
Drogo was lying.
Oh, that threw me completely. Did you go to Cambridge, number 1?
Yes, I did.
What is May Week?
May Week is when there are a lot of dances and there are races, rowing races
Thank
as well.
you. Number 2, what happens that same time at Oxford, and what is it called?
The commemoration balls.
Thank you. Number 3, what's a dagwood?
Tom Poston.
Thank you. I'm sorry about Drago, baby.
Yeah.
He lied to you. Yeah. Number 3, what's the most unusual sandwich you can think of offhand?
I think most of the sandwiches over here. Heroes and pastrami.
Most of the sandwiches over here are the most unusual he's heard of.
Yes. What about you, number 1? What about the sandwiches that you're familiar with that are unusual in filling?
In England or here?
Well, now, I was told of a sandwich over here called a grinder. And I don't know what did it, but it sounds a very peculiar sandwich to me.
You know, Steve McQueen is a friend of mine. He eats peanut butter and bananas.
Oh, that's all the time we have, and I'm glad. It might upset my stomach if we went any further. So take the few remaining moments, if you will, and mark your ballots. Mark them at once without change, and, of course, no consultation whatsoever.
Oh.
Simply vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All ballots marked?
Wait a minute.
Everybody,
Gee,
Kitty, and now she has marked. All right, Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 1. You know why? Because number 2 kept saying them when he was referring to those noble people. And maybe that's because he hasn't gotten the title yet, but I thought it was number 1.
Peggy Cass.
I voted for number 1. First of all, English people don't usually know about grinders unless, you know, we only have them, I think, around here, so they must be teaching them up on grinders. And, that's the only thing I can think of.
Barry, which one do you think it is?
Go on.
He's like a gambler. I know that he was a gambler.
Yeah, well, I voted for number 3. He said our sandwiches were very unusual over here, and that was something I could identify with.
Kitty.
I voted for number 2.
Good for you, Kitty.
Because I think he looks like the future Earl of Sandwich.
All right, there we have 2 for number 1, 1 for number 3, 1 for number 2. With that, we move into our charm circle of truth and learn now who's right, who's wrong, as we find out which of these gentlemen actually is the real heir to the title Earl of Sandwich. Will the real John Montague please stand up? Good job, gentlemen. Very good. Thank you, sir. Viscount Hinchingbrook can be seen opening day at the World's Fair at the 7-Up International Sandwich Gardens. That's the sponsorship of it, and we'll all look forward to seeing you there. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do, sir?
My name is Richard Fallowfield, and I work for the Young Rubicam Advertising Agency.
Thank you, sir. That brings us to you, number 3. What is your real name, sir, and what do you do?
My name is Donald McLean. I am the resident manager of the Sheraton East Hotel here in New York.
Well, gentlemen, we thank you very much and hope you had as good a time as you brought to us. The score was very good. You did a good job of fooling. 1, 2, 3 incorrect votes at $250 each is a total of $750 American dollars, and we hope it brings you great joy. That, of course, is from Winston Cigarettes, as is a carton of Winston's on your way out, and our thanks again. Goodbye, and God bless you. We'll put the panel back to work in just a minute. Meanwhile, here's something you'll enjoy. There's a call for you from Drogo Montagu. Do you want to take it later?
It's Drogo.
All right. And now let's meet our third team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Gilroy Roberts. My name is Gilroy Roberts.
My name is Gilroy Roberts.
Very well, panel, follow along with your copies of this. I, Gilroy Roberts, am Chief Sculptor Engraver for the United States Mint. My specialty is working with medals, plaques, and coins. I have done heads for such eminent people as Albert Einstein, Ben Hogan, Dwight D. Eisenhower, Irving Berlin, and Sir Winston Churchill. My latest assignment was designing our country's newest coin, the John F. Kennedy $50. Signed, Gilroy Roberts. Panel, these 3 gentlemen all claim, as you heard, to be the same one. By name, Gilroy Roberts. By occupation, Chief Sculptor Engraver for the United States Mint. Let's start this round with Kitty Carlisle. Kitty?
Thank you. I'm glad you asked me, Bud, because I've seen the Kennedy $50, and it's absolutely beautiful. I saw it day before yesterday, and I have one, and I couldn't be happier. Number 1, when you do this kind of work, can you explain to me how it's done first? Do you etch it first, and then is it intaglioed, and then...
Well, no, it's sculptured first.
Sculptured first.
Then in clay or wax. Then it's brought down into silver. Then it's stamped out on the dies.
Thank you. Number 2, how many of these Kennedy $50 were imprinted?
26 million.
Thank you. Number 3, when you did the medal for Irving Berlin, what was it for?
This was a congressional award.
And how many were made?
1.
Tom Poston.
Thank you, Bud. One, number 3, thank you. What does it mean, number 3, obverse? What does that mean? Does that have anything to do with coins?
Yes.
What does that mean, obverse?
It means the front.
The head part or the tail?
The head.
Yes. Thank you. Number 2, how do you make the actual die itself? The die from which these coins are minted?
It's a long process. You start with the wax impression at first, and then you gradually get down to the electrotint, and then make the galvano, and bring it on to the dies, which is a steel die, which cuts out the silver $50.
Peggy Cass.
Wow. Mr. Roberts, number 3, do you sign your coins?
My monogram appears on the coin.
Number 1, is the coin with George Washington, is that signed?
By Washington, you mean?
No.
I
read about this. All right, number 2, were not your initials mistaken for certain symbol?
Right.
On this, and what was the symbol number 1?
Mistakenly.
Mistaken, I mean.
Yeah.
It's mistaken for what, number 1?
Number 1.
Number 1, mistaken for what?
What, communistic? Is that what you're referring to? Yes.
I thought it was very funny.
Barry Nelson.
Number 3, a law had to be changed, didn't it, in order to do this Kennedy $50?
Yes.
Do you know what that law was?
This is the law that refers to how long a new design will stay in effect.
All right. Now, number 2, how much silver goes into that $50?
Much silver in a $50, half an ounce.
Number 3 again, where is the United States Mint?
Philadelphia.
How long did it take you to design this?
The model, or portrait, took about 6 weeks.
Who okayed it?
President Kennedy.
Kitty Carlisle. Oh, no, I've been right through. I've been all the way down the line here. I got some intrigue with that last...
Ask them who Drogo was.
Time to mark your ballots, so mark them at once, if you will, please. Mark them now and without change. I'd be glad to give you more time, too. But vote immediately without consultation, please. Just mark your ballots for number 1, number 2, or number 3. All ballots seem to be marked, so Tom, for whom did you vote?
Oh, I used to have a reason for this, but I don't know. I thought number 3 knew a lot, and so did the other 2. They were great.
Peggy.
Well, I voted for number 2 because he winced when he said about he signed them, and people mistook it for something else. He was very firm on that, so I think it was number 2.
Barry, which one do you think
Well,
is the
I
real
think
one?
number 3 gave me an incorrect answer when he said President Kennedy is the one who put the stamp of approval. This is a commemorative coin, and the rule was that you couldn't put anybody's picture on a coin unless they were dead for about 25 years. I voted for number 1.
Could I change my vote?
Kitty Carlisle.
I voted for number 2 because he gave a very comprehensive analysis of how you make the coin, and it was filled with all kinds of technical words, and although the other 2 were marvelous, I voted for number 2.
So that makes it the 2 ladies voting for number 2, and 1 gentleman for number 3, 1 for number 1. With that, we go to find out who's right and who's wrong. Learning now which of these gentlemen actually is the chief sculptor engraver for the United States Mint. So will the real Gilroy Roberts please stand up? Thank you, sir, very much. You may be seated, if you will.
It's not a commemorative coin?
It is, what is the answer to that confusion?
The correct answer is that a medal was made for President Kennedy when he took office. And I did the portrait.
And this portrait on the coin...
This portrait was used...
is the same.
I see.
Yes, so he did give his approval to it. You're fine when you're in your own business. The first round was show business, and you were superb. But these last 2, you're kind of a little out of your depth.
This is my field, money.
Number 1, what is your real name, sir, and what do you really do?
My name is Don Grimison. I'm with the Washington World Magazine.
And number 2, what is your real name, sir, and what do you do?
My name is Johnny Tynan. I'm president of the Tynan Travel Corporation in New York, and I've made travel arrangements for Miss Carlisle over the telephone, although I have never met her.
Now you see. Well, gentlemen, in checking the score is very easily added up because there were 3 incorrect votes at $250 each, same as the last round, $750 from Winston Cigarettes, and, of course, a carton of Winston's on your way out. Our thanks to you, gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed yourselves as much as you seem to, and you know how we enjoyed ourselves. Thank you for that. Good night, and God bless you. Now a word about Innocent. There is something you can do to help build a far better world, help people help themselves through the organization we now know as the Peace Corps. If you'd like further information about the Peace Corps, write Peace Corps, Washington 25, D.C. Panel, thank you very much for helping us all horse around tonight. You added your own inimitable something, as you always do. And good night to all of you. We'll count on seeing you again at the same time next week, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon on the daytime show. In the meantime, speaking for Winston Cigarettes, may I remind you once more to tell the truth. Good night.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Tell the Truth has been brought to you by Winston Filter Cigarettes. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. This is Johnny Olson speaking. For To Tell the Truth, this program was recorded.